Day 16 of the travel vlog. Disappointment. That's what today's video is about. It's all about disappointment. How exciting, eh? Disappointment. It's something that comes with misery as a word usually. But disappointment. Why are we disappointed today, Deb?
Well, I think the question I'd like to ask is, have you ever turned up at an accommodation that you've booked online and your heart has sank when you arrive and you realise very quickly that you're feeling very disappointed? That's what we're chatting about today, because we've just had a big disappointment.
That's a very good way of putting it, because as we drove through the electric gates.
So hang on, let me fill you in first. We booked accommodation in the UK for a couple of nights for Patrick's birthday. I booked it as a treat, as for his birthday gift and celebration. And it was today, the day that we were arriving.
Yes.
And now Patrick will tell you what's happened once we turned up.
So obviously Debbie is a romantic at heart, and I love it. And one of the things I love about Debbie is that she's always thinking of others. And she spent time and effort finding something that she thought would be really special for me. And because I like to stare up into the stars and all the rest of it, I don't know if any of you realise, I like to look in the stars because it reminds me of God. And I just love looking up in the stars and the moon and seeing the sun, and I just like looking up. It's probably why I keep bumping my head into things. Anyway, we've turned up to this accommodation and Debbie's really excited because she's gone out of her way. She's gone, like, Patrick likes staring at the stars. Every night he goes out the back, he looks up into the sky. He'll love it. So she's thought, oh, how amazing. I found somewhere where we can lie in bed and look up at the stars.
It was called a stargazing experience.
So, to be honest, Debbie kind of told me what was going to happen. We were going to have an outdoor pizza oven. We were going to have a barbecue. There was going to be a lovely hot tub. And it sounded so romantic and it sounded so lovely. Anyway, as you can imagine, since the video is disappointment, we turn up at these electric gates, we drive in, and straight away it's like my soul sank. And maybe that's not fair to the owners, and we won't mention where it is or what it is, because that's not fair on her, because she was lovely. She was a really nice lady. But the marketing was exceptional, is the only way I can describe it. Would you say that?
Absolutely. Otherwise I wouldn't have booked it. And my expectations for the experience were so high, and that was based on a number of things. That was based on the excellent marketing that had been done in advance. It was based on reviews that I had checked out. It was based on photographs, the way it was presented, and it was based on price, because it wasn't cheap. It was probably the same cost that you would pay for a 5-star hotel
in the UK.
In the UK, which is quite a hefty amount of money.
Yeah, anywhere between, when you think a decent hotel in the UK, especially in our part of the world, is anywhere between 200 plus a night. Would you say that?
Yeah, for 5-star, yes. So this accommodation was around similar cost, and so that's what my expectations led me to think it was going to be amazing and faultless, I suppose,
and the
what I was
reviews were amazing.
Like I said, I checked them out. I checked out the reviews.
Because you checked them whilst we were there.
Even whilst we were there. Because I think we were so shocked that I said, look, I've got to backtrack on myself here, because I was starting to question myself and and my judgment. And then when I did go back online and I checked all of the reviews,
They were exceptional.
and I checked what was written about the property, and it just basically didn't do what it said on the tin.
Yeah.
And we felt very shortchanged, didn't we? And we felt very disappointed. And it's not the first time that this has happened to us, but because it's happened to us so recently as today, we thought we would use this as our daily vlog, whereas we were expecting to be sitting, eating wood-fired pizza, chatting to you guys in a nice romantic setting. As you can probably tell, we're back home, so we didn't actually stay.
So it was 2 hours there, it was 2 hours back. So there's 4 hours just travelling. The lady was lovely.
The owner was.
To be honest with her.
And she accepted our...
She said, yeah, I didn't, she just took one look at us and said, yeah, I don't think it's for you guys. It was more for youngsters. But if I was a youngster, I wouldn't.
It's a lot of money.
I wouldn't want to pay that kind of money.
It was a lot of money.
As you put it, it's more glamping, but I don't think it was top-end glamping.
No, well, we won't go into details about, what we found that was wrong with the property, because you can pick any property apart.
We did say to her, she was so lovely. She really was. She gave us a full refund.
Yeah.
She came across as such a sincere, lovely lady. That her marketing team had done such a marvellous job. We had a different vision of what it was, is the best way to put it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And she did take our complaints with grace.
Yes.
So we can't complain about that. Whether she'll do anything about our feedback is up to her. But yes, we just wanted to, have a chat with you and ask you, have you ever turned up somewhere and been really disappointed? And how have you managed that disappointment? For Patrick and I, we drove home and we resorted to alcohol.
Yes.
So this is
vodka and Coke for me.
And wine with lots of ice for me. Just to drown our sorrows, really. But again, you have to have a sense of humour. And luckily, I think we're mature enough and we understand that this is just one disappointment that's going to happen in our lives, and there'll probably be many more. Maybe on our 12-month journey through Southeast Asia,
there's going to be more.
I would be shocked if we're not going to be disappointed in many of the accommodations.
So that's a good reason if you are considering going to Southeast Asia, if you are ever considering doing what we're doing, we will be showing you where we're staying. We will be showing you accommodation, and we will be doing 100% reviews. And if we say we're not trying to be snobs, and I don't think we're snobs. Where it's not about the money, it's about value for money.
Yes. And
we don't like getting what we feel ripped off. And we live in a country where they call it rip off Britain. So
yes.
So we don't like that. And we're not, it's a good question. How do you resolve these situations? Because we're quite calm about it.
We're very calm about it.
Because
you have to be.
Otherwise, you just ruin your day. So from our point of view, we asked, in this scenario, we've just spoken to the owner and said, look, this isn't for us.
But what I will say about that, in the booking conditions, when I obviously looked at the small print, once we were on site, it said no refunds. Mm. And at one point, you did say to me, oh, well, we'll just stay and make the most of it.
Exactly.
And I thought, no, I'm going to try. I'm going to reach out to the owner and I'm going to...
So that's a good tip.
Yeah, and behave very calmly, like Patrick said, because that's the only way to do it.
Yep.
And once we voiced how our feelings and what our expectations were and how they weren't met, she was absolutely fine about it. Mm. And was apologising and basically
and even said she wouldn't stay there.
She actually admitted that this isn't my type of accommodation either. Yeah. So that was interesting. Yeah. How would you cope with it? How would you deal with it? And if you're a couple,
if it has happened to you, how have you?
Yeah, that's what I've just said. Yeah. How did you deal with it?
Yeah, okay. Maybe I've had one too many vodkas already.
And if you're part of a couple, maybe one of you gets more anxious and worked up about these kinds of things than the other. Let us know. Let us know your experiences, or if you're a solo traveller, and do you feel comfortable, confronting people and telling them if you're not
Standing
happy?
up for yourself.
Yeah, but what you'd expect us to say at this point is do your due diligence.
But you did.
But I feel I did my due diligence. I honestly do. And I feel that we're hoodwinked, and that's the only word I can use and think of, is that the marketing was exceptional and the reviews were, I mean,
they were too good, actually, to be fair.
Well, you have to question that now.
Looking at them now, they were too good.
Maybe, but again, when you're on a gadget or a screen looking, you can only do the due diligence you can do. And as we are living proof, today it happened to us. And I'm sure we're not the only people it happens to, and it won't be the last time.
No, and I felt sorry for Debbie because Debbie has spent time, effort in planning this. And the trouble is, I know she was anxious to make it all right for, so we had a lovely time. And I feel quite sad that it hasn't worked out for her. And I know she feels that way about it hasn't worked out for me.
Well, yeah, it's your birthday.
Isn't it mad? So again, disappointment. You've got to grab it. You've got to grab disappointment and turn it on its head, I think. You have to put the positive on it. Yes. And I know we're going to have one too many tonight and we're going to giggle. Now, that's the way to deal with disappointment, I think.
Yeah, just resort to alcohol. Yeah. Not that we're telling everybody to become alcoholics, obviously. But yeah, it definitely helps us sometimes. Yeah, so I suppose that's it, isn't it, really?
Yeah, so come along on our journey. Do subscribe if you want to come along on our journey. We'd love to hear your comments, and we would love for you to email us if you want a one-to-one chat. We're really looking forward to making some friends along our journey, and hopefully that journey that you join us on will be a very friendly, happy place for you too. So after our disappointment, we're very happy to have spent some time with you guys, and that's it for now, really, isn't it?
It is. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.